ఏం చేద్దాం? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice and screen. Those who are attending in online, am I audible? Guys, please confirm to me. Adi, project Adi. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice and screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice and screen. Are you get my voice and screen, guys? Screen. Are you able to get my screen clearly? Yes, clear. Yeah, nice. Finish. చూసిపెట్టు గట్టిగా చిన్నగా పోతాయి. నువ్వు ఇక్కడ నాకు కనిపించాడు కూర్చో, నా కళ్ళు తిరిగి ఇక్కడ కదా అక్కడే, నా కళ్ళు తిరిగి కూర్చో, నువ్వు ఫోన్ చూసుకో. అదే సో గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ guys. All right, sir, and check it what we completed in the last session, what we understood the content here in the last class. Right, sir, and I think we are discussing about IO streams topic. In IO streams, what content we completed up to now in IO streams. So in IO streams, dynamic input approaches we completed overall. Am I right? Dynamic input approaches we completed. Now, after this dynamic input approaches, we have to understand serialization and deserialization, the most important topic in entire IO streams. Serialization and deserialization. Its internal process is not mandatory for us. Internal content is not mandatory for us, but its purpose is important in Java applications. So we are going to use these IO streams. Sorry, we are going to use this serialization and deserialization in every enterprise applications. Wherever we are using Java Bean concepts, where definitely we are going to use what there this IO streams topic. So because of that reason, it's mandatory to understand the content kernel, right, sir? All right, it's okay, fine. This is about like what there IO streams, that means serialization and deserialization topic, what we are having clearly. Got it or not? Right, sir. Close the door. But first of all, what is the meaning of serialization and deserialization? First we have to understand it. I think everything we completed about dynamic input approaches. Console I completed, am I right? Program is not provided. Console program, yes, it has given. Right, fine. All right, sir, leave it now. But out of three dynamic input approaches, buffer reader, scanner, and what next one, console, which is not supported by IDEs nowadays, no? Console is not supported, so no chances to use that in our applications. In the real-time application development, everybody will use IDEs. Without using IDE, we are unable to prepare the applications inside the companies. Once we are using IDEs there, then definitely there what is going to be happen here? Definitely we need to use some dynamic input approaches in our applications, but if we use IDEs, no, it is not possible to use console. So just we can avoid the utilization of console. But concept wise we understood, knowledge point of view we understood there, but in the utilization point of view, it is not suitable for our IDEs. So it is not suitable in our enterprise applications. Leave it. Apart from this, two things are available: buffer reader and scanner. Which one is better? If you think about it, in some situations buffer data is giving some advantages, in some other situations scanner is providing some advantages. One problem I recognize it, but actually I can use that scanner. I can say directly scanner. Okay, we can use scanner. 99% I'm saying that scanner is the right one. We can use that. With less code we are able to achieve our content. That means less code in the sense directly primitive data we are able to get. There's an advantage. We can use that scanner, no problem. But scanner is also having one problem. What is that problem here? No. For example, I'm asking some dynamic input. User is not interested to provide dynamic input. If we click on enter button, where what it has to read there, either it has to read like what there null value, or it has to get what there empty string. Got it or not? But where some problem is coming there with the scanner. Scanner is not supporting for enter buttons. Or get my point, or not supporting without data. If we provide data, it will be good. But if we are not providing data, if we click on enter button, the scan is giving trouble for us in our application development. Their buffer data is suitable. Their buffer data is suitable. Try to understand it, what I'm telling to you. Okay, then in the future, we are going to see even that concept also. But except that particular point, a scanner is good. Except empty strings, except empty data, if you want to take really the data from the console, there where what is suitable there, scanner is suitable, scanner is good. But in that particular situation, we are going to use what there, buffer reader. Yes sir, got it or not? Right sir, now leave this one here. These are the various points we understood. So depending on situations we are going to use, but still developers habituation is what, buffer reader only. Even though scanner is good, giving some advantages when compared with others, but still developers habituation is what their buffer data. By default, if you want to take some dynamic input, in general people are thinking about it is like what their directly they want to go for what their buffer data. That's the point here we have to understand. Right sir, anyway, depending on situations we are going to use, depending on situations we are going to use either of this, but either all are equal maximum. But scanner is getting a bit advantage when compared with the buffer data, but in some situations buffer data is going to be utilized. I'll discuss with you later on. When I'm going to prepare some menu driven application in a collection framework, I have a thought of it. I want to prepare some menu driven application there. I'm going to show this point exactly now. Okay, leave it. Now coming to the point here, next one is serialization and deserialization. Serialization and deserialization. Right, sir. Everybody must understand this topic here without failure. Serialization and deserialization is a mandatory. Everybody must understand it. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. First of all, what is serialization? What is the meaning of deserialization? First, understand it. The process of separating data from an object. What is it? The process of separating data from an object. Object is available, where data is available. I want to separate the data from an object. Of course, that separated data I may use in multiple ways. Either I may send to the network, or I may send to the database, or I may send to what there, a text file, or maybe I may send for some other system, whatever it may be. No. But first of all, separating data from an object is required. The process of separating data from an object is called serialization. The process of separating data from an object is called as what there, serialization. Next one is what is deserialization? Completely opposite of this. Completely opposite of this is what there, deserialization. What is it actually? The process of reconstructing an object. Reconstructing an object on the basis of data. On the basis of the data is called deserialization. The process of reconstructing an object on the basis of the data is called deserialization. Right, sir? Now we understood the basic process. What is the meaning of serialization and what is the meaning of deserialization? The basic point we understood. Tell me, what is serialization and what is deserialization? No? The process of separating data from an object is called what? Serialization. The process of reconstructing an object on the basis of the data is called as what there? Deserialization. Got it or not? Okay, fine. But where, sir? Where I'm going to use this concept? In which situations I'm going to use this particular topic? I want to know about it. So for that, I will give some clarity. Now try to understand this point, all of you know. Everybody understand it clearly. If you want to understand the use case for the serialization and deserialization, first we have to start our conversation from distributed applications onwards. Distributed applications onwards we have to discuss. Then only we are able to understand the content. Yeah, now tell me, first of all, what is distributed application? Then in the right from introduction class onwards, I'm talking about this point. If we design and execute any application on the basis of client server architecture or by distributing application logic over multiple missions, then that application is called distributed application or enterprise application. Both are same at present. No, we can understand it. But when we go for frameworks level, there we are going to understand what there that enterprise application and distributed application both are same or both are different. That I will discuss with you later. But first of all, understand it. What is the meaning of distributed application? If we design and execute any application on the basis of client server architecture or by distributing application logic over multiple machines, then that application is called as what there? Distributed application. Has sir got it or not? Okay, fine. Observe carefully. Whenever I'm saying distributed application, immediately there is a client and there is a server. Am I right or not? Two things are available. There is a client mission, server mission. I want to change the terminology. Client mission, I want to call it as what? A local mission. Server mission, I want to call it as a remote mission. Local mission, a remote mission. Application which is available at a client mission is called as a local application. The application which is available at remote mission is called as a remote application, a remote program or remote application. Whatever it may be, terminology I'm telling to you. Right, observe carefully. In general, in distributed applications, in distributed applications, it is a convention to transfer objects from local mission to the remote mission and from the remote mission to the local mission. Yeah, this point you have to remember clearly. This is a key point. This is the reason why we are talking about serialization, deserialization. What is the key point here I'm telling there? In general, in a distributed applications, it's a convention to transfer objects from local mission to the remote mission and from remote mission to the local mission. This is required. We are going to carry the objects from one mission to another mission is a convention inside our what there? Distributed applications. Yes, sir. Got it or not? Fine, sir. Good. But how we are going to send an object from one mission to another mission over the network inside the distributed applications? What we have to do there? Clear? I'm going to give one diagrammatic representation. Try to understand it clearly. Everybody must follow this. All right, sir. Now, for example, all of you observe carefully. Now, I want to take this is local mission. Now this is a remote mission. Both local mission and remote mission, two missions are existed. Everybody understand it now? Okay. Now here I want to say local mission and remote mission. Local mission and remote mission. Observe carefully. Now the next one is what there. Between this local mission and remote mission, we are going to have network. Definitely network is required to carry the data from one mission to another mission. What is required here now? Network is required. Everybody understand it? Say for example, I need to take some network. Right, sir. Where is that network, sir? Okay, something else here I'm taking no, but don't think too much about it. This is my network. Fine. Clear up to now, all of you? Local mission and remote mission. This is like what the network. My requirement is what? I want to create an object. I want to create an object. I want to create an object at local mission. This is my object. Here I created. My requirement is what? I want to carry this object from local mission to the remote mission. That is a purpose. That is a requirement. After completion of this, the same process we can follow to transfer the object from remote mission to local mission. First understand how we are going to carry this object from local mission to remote mission. Right? After that, we are going to think the same mechanism, same process to carry the object from remote mission to local mission. Okay, fine. Now this is exactly the point here I'm telling you. Try to follow this. All right, sir. Now, whenever we have taken an object here, I want to take some data inside this object. Observe carefully, just a few data only. You can think of it, it is an employee object, for example. Now here, I want to provide some data like what there, ENO is equal to 111. ENO is equal to 111. Next one is ename is equal to AAA. Ename is equal to AAA. Right, sir. Next one is offer this. ESAL is equal to some value. That value here we provided. This is exactly like what their employee object here we created. Now understand it. Now here I want to write it. This is like what object here? Employee object. Right. Employee object. My requirement is I want to carry this employee object to what their remote object. That's my requirement. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity or not? All right. Leave this one. This is my local mission. That's okay, fine. But observe carefully. In the network, how it is possible to carry an object here? Actually, object is what? Object is what? Object is a memory block. Am I right or not? Just like it is a pen drive. Pen drive contains some memory or not? Hard disk contains some memory or not? It is a memory block. Object is nothing but memory block where data is stored. Object is a memory block where data will be stored. But here my question is transferring an object from one machine to another machine in the sense, in general, a memory block we have to transfer. That is the actual meaning. We need to think about it. What there? We need to transfer what there? An object. Object transformation in the sense, what is the meaning of it now? Memory block we have to transfer. But how it is possible to transfer that memory block now? So transferring an object from one machine to another machine in the sense, it is not the meaning of transferring a memory block from one machine to another machine over the network. It is not like this. But what is its meaning actually? its meaning is transferring an object from one machine to another machine, in the sense transferring the data which is available inside that object from one machine to another machine. Not object to transformation. Data of that object will be transferred from one machine to another machine. But in outside, it looks like what there we are carrying an object. We are transferring an object from one machine to another machine. But really, object is not going to be transferred. Why? Because object is a memory block. How it will be carried in the network? Only data is going to be transferred in the network here. Observe carefully. Okay, fine. Now the point is what there? This one here I have to transfer to the remote machine. For that purpose, I need to follow some mechanism. What mechanism here I'm going to follow here? All of you observe carefully my mechanism here. Everybody understand this mechanism now? First of all, I want to separate the data from this object. Yes, what I want to do there? I want to separate data from this object. Get my point or not? I want to separate data from this object. After separating data from this object, I want to send the data to the network. Network will carry the data toward the remote machine. At remote machine, I'm going to collect the data. I'm going to create an object. So first of all, we need to separate the data from this object. Understand it? What data here we need to separate there from this object? No. Now see this one. Here I'm going to separate the data from this object. Directly, I need to take ENO is equal to 111. Then ename is equal to AAA. Then ESAL is equal to 5000. Data is separated from this particular object. Okay, here data we separated, that we understood. For separating the data, how we are going to separate the data, that is our concept actually. How it is possible to separate the data, that is our actual concept. Now we separate the data. After separating the data, now still the data is in understandable form or not? ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to AAA, and ESAL is equal to 5000. The data is in a system representation or not? Software representation only. That is user friendly representation. But how this data is going to be transferred in the network? No. How it is possible to transfer this data in the network here? If we want to transfer this data in the network, first of all, what we have to do there, observe carefully. If we want to transfer this data in the network, all of you observe carefully. If you want to transfer this data in the network, first of all, the data must be in a network representation. The data must be in what representation? There no network representation. Observe carefully. So first this data must be converted to the network representation. First this data must be converted to what representations there? Network representation. All of you get my point or not? Okay. How the data is going to be converted to the network representation? Observe carefully. Now the data is available like what there? 111 AA 5000. This is like what their normal data. Now the data must be in a network representation, in the sense there the network representations are nothing but what there? Zeros and ones. Am I right or not? The network representations are like what there? Zeros and ones. Now the data must be converted in this way. Okay, now observe carefully. Now data is converted from system representation to network representation. Data is converted like this. So listen carefully. First separate the data from the object. The same data we converted to what their network representation. Now inside this network, the data must be transferred. How data must be transferred inside the network here? If you understand it, observe carefully. Same data must be transferred inside the network. How it is going to be transferred here inside the network? Now the data will be transferred inside the network in the form of zeros and ones only. Now here again here zeros and ones here we are getting there. Observe carefully like this. All right. Now what is going to be happen here when the data is coming like this? When the data is coming like this, now the data will come to what the remote machine. At remote machine, the data is coming there. There in the remote machine, how the data is going to be existed here? No, we can identify the data is available in the form of like what there? in the form of network representation only. In the form of like what there, network representation only, the data is going to be existed. Observe carefully. Guys, all of you are following my points now? What I'm discussing with you? Points are very, very simple. No difficulties. It's very, very simple. A clean representation I'm providing. All right. Now tell me what I have done up to now. I created an object. I separate the data from object. Later, I convert the data from system representation to network representation. I send the data to the network. Network is carrying the data to what their remote system, remote mission. In the remote mission, the data is available in network representation. Am I right or not? When the data is available in the network representation, when the data is available in the network representation, we have to read the data to the program or not? To read the data into the program, the data must be in a system representation or not? Now we need to get the data into the system representation. What is that system representation here? What we are able to understand the system representation here? There we can understand the data is like what there, ENO is equal to 111. Next one is what there, ename is equal to AAA. Ename is equal to like what there, AAA. Right, sir. Now ename is equal to AAA. Then after this, after completion of this, ename is equal to AAA. Next one is what there, ESAL is equal to 5000. The data is available like this. Now tell me, we converted this data from network representation to what representation here? No, system representation here we converted. Am I right or not? This is actually in what representation here? No, network representation. Later on the data we converted to system representation. Now the data is available in what representation here? No, system representation. Whenever the data is available in system representation, now my requirement is what there, I want to reconstruct an object on the base of this data. I want to reconstruct an object on the base of the data. So what I am going to do here in this case, no, right, now I need to create an object. This is an object here we created here. I have to create an object. Okay, now the data, whatever the data here we converted here, the data I want to keep inside this particular object. Now here we need to keep the data here. Now the data is like what there, ENO is equal to 111, ename is equal to something else like what there, AAA, ename is equal to like what there, AAA. Then after this, ESAL is equal to 5000. The data is provided like this. All right, sir. Now finally, we are converting the data from system representation to object. So here we are getting the total data in the form of like what there, object. So this is what you are getting clearly. Finally, object is transferred from local machine to remote machine or not? See this, in this total process here, object is transferred from local machine to the remote machine or not? No response, sir. Right, but internally this much of work is going on here. Internally this much of work is going on. Got it or not? All right, sir. Now I want to give some terminology. Understand this terminology. What I want to provide there, for example, now we are converting the data from what representation to what. First of all, we are separating the data from an object. Am I right or not? We are separating the data from an object, right? Separating data from an object. The process of separating data from an object is called as, the process of separating data from an object is called, what is that actually? 1 minute. I think you are good, but I am a bit slow. 1 minute here. Yeah, the process of separating the data from an object is called as serialization. The process of separating data from an object is called as what there, serialization. All right, sir, that's okay, fine. Next one is, observe carefully here. Here we are converting the data from what to what here? We are converting the data from system representation to network representation. Here converting the data from system representation to network representation. Now this mechanism, this process is called as marshalling. This mechanism is called as what there? Marshalling. Please all of you remember this terminology. It will be useful technology even in the distributed applications. This mechanism is called as what there? Marshalling. First of all, tell me what is serialization? The process of separating data, from an object is called as what there? Serialization. Then what next one here? The process of converting data from what to what? The process of converting data from a system representation to network representation, that is called as like what there? What is that actually? That is called as marshalling. Right, sir. This is serialization. Now here we are able to understand this one. This is like what there? Marshalling, that we can identify now. Right, sir. So marshalling, that we understood. Now coming to the other side of the diagram. In other side, what we are doing, sir? Now tell me. We are converting the data from what representation to what representation? No, network representation to system representation. The process of converting the data from network representation to system representation. So this process, this mechanism, this process or this mechanism is called as unmarshalling. This mechanism is called as what there? Unmarshalling. Next one is after that. Understand it now? Now here data is available. On the basis of this data, we are reconstructing an object, redesigning an object. Now this mechanism, this process is called as deserialization. This process is called as what there? Deserialization. All right, sir. Now here we can identify this clearly. Deserialization. So overall, serialization and deserialization, marshalling and marshalling, the total process here we understood. Clear? This is a clear-cut diagram. Try to understand it. Now here, I can give that more explanation. Now I think it is more visible for you. Now try to understand it clearly. So first of all, my requirement is what there? Object I have taken. This object I want to transfer from local machine to the remote machine. That is my actual requirement. So for that purpose, what I have done here, first I separate the data from this object. So this process is called as serialization. But the data is available in a system representation. The data have to be converted to network representation. Converting data from system representation to network representation, this is called as what there? Marshalling. That marshaled data will be given to what there? Network. Network will carry the data in the form of bytes to the target mission. Target mission is what there? Remote mission. In the remote mission, what we are doing there? We are converting the data from network representation to system representation. That process is called as what there? Unmarshalling. Whenever the data is unmarshaled, on the basis of the data, we are going to create an object. The process of creating an object on the basis of the data is called as what there? Deserialization. Still, if we are not understanding this, I can give one example. General example. Can I go for it? Okay, right. Just casual question I'm asking to you. Now try to answer for it. Which fruit you like to eat more? Fruit, sir. I'm asking to you. Fruits. Apple, no? Any other one? Pineapple. Huh? Only apple, pineapple, all these apples only, right? Pineapple, bad apple, right? Right, sir. Apple, okay, fine. Any other fruit? Yeah, good. My online student is giving watermelon, right? Perfect. Watermelon. Okay, watermelon is an example I want to take. No, understand it. So, software industry is not good. No jobs in software. No students are coming to the institute. But what about my situation? You're having at one side tension, right? Field is not good. But what we have to do? Even if we complete the course, what we have to do? That is a doubtful, right? But my tension is what there? If software is done, if students are not coming to the institute, what I have to do? What I have to do? Huh? I have to arrange one tent house in front of the Maitrivanam, right? Right, sir. For example, then total everything is collapsed here, right? The total Hyderabad, Maitrivanam, and everything is collapsed. No classes, no students are coming to the classes. Definitely, I have to go for some alternative. But my royal field is there. I have some alternative already. Agriculture, right? I'll go to my home or I'll do my own agriculture. What is the problem there? Yeah, already we started that field only initially. Now we are coming to this location. If it is not good, again we'll go back there. And moreover, I'm telling there in the future also, agriculture that field the total domain is going to get very good demand in the future. Sure. But maybe in the next 10 years of time, the process of agriculture, the total shape of this agriculture is going to be changed. How the situations will come there in the future, no? Government has to recruit the people to do agriculture. Yeah, a monthly salary they are going to pay to do agriculture. Why? Because if no farmers, no food. At least for the sake of minimal survival, food is required. Food is generated from the agriculture department only. So definitely then governments will give some policies. They will recruit the people to do agriculture. Why? Because everybody they are thinking about software field and everybody they are coming to Hyderabad. They're learning courses. They're waiting for software jobs only. Are you're not having any job there. Go to the hometown and do some agriculture in the sense. Nobody will do that. Myself is a BTech. I completed my BTech with a grade 78%. How it is possible for me to do agriculture there? Field work. Okay. For example, listen. So this year I have a field of watermelon. Nearly 10 acres of field I have taken for watermelon. I started that agriculture on watermelon. Watermelon trees I established there. That field is going on good. The craft time is coming. Now within 2 months of time, the watermelon fruits are coming. Not to take too much time. Throughout the year, if water facility is available, maybe nearly 6 or 7 attempts we are going to do that watermelon fields. No crafts, so 6 crafts we are able to get if it is a case. Okay, fine. Within 2 months of time, watermelons, very good watermelons are generated. Nearly the size of this one watermelon, the weight of one watermelon may be 10 kgs, for example. Like that, the watermelons are coming. Yes, sir. I think you are thinking about to taste it, right? So one fine day, some of my relatives, they are staying at USA. They made a call to me. They asked to me, "Arey, what you are doing at your village now? Then this year, what craft you have done? Watermelon craft I have done there. It is very good. Profits are coming. Field is very good. Okay, then what is the weightage of that each and every watermelon? An average. I said to them, then 10 kgs. Arey, why don't you send that watermelon to US? We want to see the taste of it. My relatives asked to me, send one watermelon to US. I thought of it. Definitely, I want to send it to you. Then what is going to be happen there? One watermelon, I have to package. I have to send it to the maybe some friend. If anybody else is going to that USA, I'll give that watermelon to him. He will carry that. I thought of it, but I'm waiting for the time. Fortunately, in the near the days, one of my villager, maybe the person who is staying at my village, my friend's son, for example, is going to the US for the sake of the masters. Luckily, he's going to the same location where my relatives are staying. Okay, I understood that. Then why don't we send that watermelon fruit along with him? Then I packed it. I given that package to him. Okay, he accepted that. Even though that weight limit is going on there, but still he accepted that 10 kgs of weight watermelon. So he came to Hyderabad Shamshabad airport. In Shamshabad airport, check-in process is going on. In the check-in process, he shown all of his luggage to the custom officers. Unfortunately, the custom officers have opened it. They identified it. Are here watermelon fruit you are trying to carry? It is not supposed to carry. You are not supposed to carry this fruit. Then so we have to black it. So then immediately my friend son made a call to me. Boss, and these people are not allowed me to carry this watermelon. What I have to do? Now I'm thinking about it. What I have to do there? I got a stroke. I got a strike. Then what I got the information there. Then I given information to him. Just to take that watermelon out, break it, flush is there, try to distribute that flush to everybody. After that, gather all the seeds. Only seeds you have to gather. Don't distribute that seeds there. From everybody, try to gather the seeds. Pack them. Keep that packet in our pocket. Go to the flight. Nobody will stop. Only seeds only, right? Not watermelon, right? Okay. So seeds are separated, seeds are packed, and seeds are taken into his bag. So he went to what there? USA. Then he reached to my relative's home. All right, my relatives made a call to me. Are fool, we asked to you to send watermelon, but what you are sending there? Seeds of watermelon. What do we have to do with that? I give an idea to them. Try to plantation over that seeds, no? You'll get watermelon tree. There we will get watermelon within 2 months of time. Try to eat it. What I have to do apart from that? As I got it, what I am telling there. So my relatives, what they have to do there? They have to take the seeds, they have to plantation over that seeds. Then within 2 months of time, they will get watermelon tree. Their watermelon fruits will come. But that seeds are coming from India or not? The taste will be same or not? Finally, they are able to see the taste of it. Remember one point here. In this overall conversation, watermelon is an object. I think you understood the point here. I think you are already involved in this example, right? So watermelon is what there is an object. Shamshabad Airport and USA, my relatives' home. If we take both, Shamshabad Airport is what their local system. My relatives' home is what their remote system. Here, object is available, but we are unable to send that object through the flight. That means in the network, not possible to send it. So what we have done there, we separate all the seeds from watermelon object. That seeds we packed. That seeds only we carried. Got it or not? In the flight, seeds are allowed, but not watermelon. So anyway, the data is transferred to the remote machine. At remote machine, what my relatives have done, they have taken seeds. They have taken only data. On the basis of the data, they reconstructed an object or not. Watermelon fruit they have taken or not. And then after that, they have used that watermelon for their requirement. So at Shamshabad Airport, what we have done, serialization. Sir, am I right or not? At Hyderabad Airport, what we have done there, serialization. But at my relatives' home, at the relatives' home at USA, what they have done, deserialization. Finally, I transferred my watermelon from Hyderabad to USA. That's it. Still understand? Not understanding? I have one more example. Understand it? No? Fine. That's sufficient here. Finally, our requirement is like what there, transferring an object from one mission to another mission. That's it. But how we are doing that, this is the total internal process. Finally, I'm asking questions to try to answer for it. Where we are going to use serialization and deserialization in general. In general, we are going to use serialization and deserialization in the distributed applications to transfer the objects from one mission to another mission. That missions may be local mission and remote mission, or remote mission to local mission, that doesn't matter. And one more point, I forgot it. Here, in this example, we transfer the object from which mission to which mission? Local mission to remote mission. For example, after getting watermelon at my relative's house, I may make a call to them. Ariyar, I want to see the taste of that US watermelon. Can you send it back? What they are going to do? Again, same process. Again, same process. They have to do. Again, they have to take that watermelon fruit. They have to separate the seeds. They will send only seeds to me. Again, I have to plantation over the seeds. Then I'm able to get watermelon. Then I'm able to use it. Got it or not? See, that missions may be local mission or remote mission, whatever it may be. The process will be very same. Okay, now tell me, what is serialization? No? Separating data from an object. What is marshalling? Converting data from system representation to network representation. What is unmarshalling? Converting the data from network representation to system representation. What is deserialization? Reconstructing an object on the basis of the data. Right, so now this is exactly the points here we have to understand. Okay, fine. Now let us concentrate on the document here. Of course, at present you understood everything here, but after a few days after, if you open this, we need to understand it clearly. That's why I'm going to prepare this. Now, first of all, I've given the information about like what their distributed application. If we design and execute any application on the basis of client server architecture or by distributing application logic over multiple machines, then that application is called a distributed application. Leave it. In general, in distributed applications, it is a convention to transfer objects from local mission to remote mission and from the remote mission to the local mission. Okay, fine. Next, observe carefully. Here we have to provide some data. All right, sir. If you want to transfer an object from local mission to the remote mission, we have to use the following steps. We have to use the following steps. What steps here we have to use there? All right, so now I want to categorize this. I want to separate these steps. No, first one is what there at a local mission. What exactly the steps here we are going to do? Observe carefully. At local mission, we have to give the points here. First one is what there. Create an object. Create an object which you want to serialize. All right, sir. Create an object. Observe carefully. I'm going to introduce one point here. Create an object which we want to serialize. Create an object which you want to serialize. That is serializable object. What is that object? No, serializable object. How it is serializable object? How can we create a serializable object? No, I will give that point separately. Don't worry for it. Here itself I'm telling to you. By default, all Java objects are not eligible for serialization and deserialization. By default, all the Java objects are not eligible for serialization and deserialization. Only the objects which are implementing serializable interface. What are these? Only the objects which are implementing serializable interface are eligible for object serialization. Which are implementing what interface? No, serializable marker interface especially. Only the objects which are implementing serializable marker interface are eligible for what there? Serialization and deserialization. Yes, sir. Okay, no? That's fine. Serializable interface is a marker interface which it doesn't have any abstract method, which is for only for a particular purpose. That purpose is what their serialization. Marker interface is an interface which doesn't have any abstract methods, but by implementing that, you are able to get some abilities at runtime. Objects are getting some abilities at runtime by implementing that interfaces. They are called as what their marker interfaces. Example is what their serializable interface. In the steps, I will give that information to you. Don't worry for it. Leave it now. Then after this, after completion of this, create an object which you want to serialize. That is serializable object. Next one is what there. After that, separate the data from the serializable object. Separate the data from the serializable object. It is called serialization. Sir, got it or not? Separate the data from the serializable object. It is called as what there? Serialization. Next one is convert the data from convert the serialized data from system representation to the network representation. Convert the data from system representation to the network representation. Now it is called as what there? It is called or there marshalling. It is called as what there? Marshalling. Next one is after that. What next one? After converting that, send the network represented data to the network. Send the network represented data to what there? To the network. That's it. These are the various steps which are going on at which mission here? No, local mission. Is it? All of you are getting clarity or not? Next one is after that at the remote mission. At the remote mission. Now tell me similarly at remote mission here what we are doing there. First one is what there? What we are doing there? Just convert the data from network representation to system representation. That is called as what there? Unmarshalling. Right, so now convert the data, or else maybe what I am telling there. First of all, get the data from network. Get the data from network. Next one is what there? Convert the data from the network representation to the system representation. Convert the data from network representation to the system representation. Next one is what? After this, the third point is what there. Now this process is called as what there? Convert the data from network representation to the system representation. It is called unmarshalling. It is called as what there? Unmarshalling. Okay, fine. Next one is what? After that, whenever we are getting the data, After that, what we have to do there? We are going to reconstruct the data, reconstruct an object on the basis of the data. Reconstruct an object on the basis of the data, So it is called deserialization. This is called as what there? Deserialization. Next one is object. Here we are getting or not? That whenever we are getting object, use the deserialized object in the application logic, in the application requirement. Application logic. We can use that at any way. In any way, we can use the deserialized object. But object we are getting there. Once we are getting an object, we can utilize that object in any of the content here. Right, so now this is exactly the meaning of like what there? Serialization and deserialization here now. Right, sir. So finally here we are getting the total concept of like what there? Serialization and deserialization and its content. Okay, leave this one. After this, after completion of this, now we are giving some definitions to you. Not required to go for these definitions. The required definitions already given in the document. What points you have given there? Already given some points to you. Now see this one. Separating the data, separate the data from the serializable object. It is called as what there? Serialization. Convert the serialized data from system representation to the network representation. It is called as marshalling. Now here, convert the data from the network representation to the system representation. It is called as what there? Unmarshalling. Reconstruct an object on the basis of the data. It is called as what there? Deserialization. Right, sir. Okay, fine. All the points are okay. Now, understand these points, all of you know. This is distributed application. In a distributed application, we have a remote machine. So we separate the data from the object. We send the data to the remote machine. Remote machine will manage the data. It's okay, fine. But my requirement is, I want to perform serialization over the standalone applications, inside the standalone applications. I want to perform object serialization inside the standalone application, not in distributed application. Inside the standalone application, I want to perform serialization. Standalone application in the sense only one program or not? Come on guys, the single Java program or not? But here, we are going to create serializable object. Okay, well and good. We are going to separate the data from this object. Okay, serialization we can do. But where we are going to keep the serialized data? In the distributed application, we have a remote machine to send that serialized data. But now it's a standalone application. In a standalone application, how it is possible to get the data? How it is possible to maintain the data, serialized data in the standalone application? Where we are going to send that serialized data in a standalone application? Right. If we come for this particular point, answer is very clear. In standalone applications, we are going to take a flat file. We are going to take a normal file system. And a system hard disk, I will create a file, text file, for example, emp.txt file. I'll take a file. Inside this text file, I want to keep that serialized data. Inside the text file, I want to keep what there? My serialized data. Yes, sir, all of you get my point or not? Instead of taking remote system, I want to take a normal text file in our system hard disk. There, I'm going to keep what there? My serialized data. Right or not? When I want to perform deserialization, I'll get the data from the same text file. I'll get back the data from what there? From same text file. There I'm going to use the data as part of my application requirements. This is how we are going to perform the serialization and deserialization inside like what there? Standalone applications. Right, sir. Now let us go for this punch here. All right, sir. In the standalone applications, if you want to perform serialization and deserialization in a standalone application, if you want to perform serialization and deserialization, then we have to use a flat file. Flat file in the sense normal file only, normal file system only, not like zip file, not like what the jar file, not like this. Normal file, text file, simple, as simple as text file. That's it. We are going to use a flat file like a text file. That's it. This is the intention here. We have to understand. But how we are going to perform it? What are the various steps here we are going to use to perform serialization and deserialization in our applications? How it is possible here? Right, observe carefully. To perform serialization and deserialization in Java applications, to perform serialization and deserialization in Java applications, Java has provided two byte-oriented streams. To perform serialization and deserialization, Java has provided two byte-oriented streams. What are the two byte-oriented streams which are provided by Java? First one is object output stream, and the second one is what? Object input stream. These are two things. What are the two things now? Tell me. Object output stream, and the second one is what there? Object input stream. Now here, object output stream is for what purpose? There actually object output stream is for serialization. Please remember this. Object output stream is for what there? Serialization. Object input stream is for what there? Deserialization. Deserialization. Object input stream is for what purpose there? Deserialization. See, understand it now. What is the meaning of serialization here now? Separating data from an object is called a serialization. In Java applications, that serialization we are not doing explicitly. Separating data from an object we are not doing explicitly. That could be done by a predefined stream in Java. That a predefined stream is what there? Object output stream. Here our responsibility is what? Create a serializable object, send that serializable object to the object output stream. Object output stream will perform the required serialization. Object output stream will perform the required serialization. So we are not separating the data from an object. Object output stream will separate the data from the object here now. Understand it clearly. All right, sir. Next one is, what is the meaning of deserialization actually? Here data is available. Data is available. On the basis of the data, we have to reconstruct an object. In Java applications, developer is not performing anything about deserialization. Developer is not performing deserialization explicitly. But who will perform this deserialization in Java? Object to input to stream. What is that now? Object to input to stream is performing deserialization. Yes, sir. I'll forget my point. Who is performing the deserialization? No? Object to input to stream is performing deserialization. Get my point or not? All right, but what is our responsibility in the case of Java about this object to deserialization? Here, our responsibility is only reading deserializable object. Just we have to send that serialized data to the object input stream. Object input stream will perform the deserialization. Then we have to get the deserialized object into the Java application. Just reading deserializable object is our responsibility. Well done, now tell me. That important point I covered here. What is that important point here? Who will perform serialization in Java? Object output stream. Who will perform deserialization in Java? Object input stream. Right, sir. These are the two things here that are provided by Java programming language to perform serialization and deserialization. Is that got or not? All right, it's okay, fine. After this, after completion of this, what are the various steps here we are going to follow to perform serialization? What are the various steps we are going to follow to perform deserialization that we have to understand? Now here I want to give the point clearly. Steps to perform serialization. Steps to perform serialization. That very first step I'm telling to you, create serializable class and its object and a serializable object. Right, sir? Now tell me, what is the first step now? Create serializable class and a serializable object. If we want to perform serialization, first of all, we require object or not. That serializable object is required or not. That we have to create. But how it is possible to create? How is it possible to create serializable class and a serializable object? Just before this diagram, I give an information to you. In a Java, by default, all Java objects are not eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Am I right or not? In Java, by default, all Java objects are not eligible for the serialization and deserialization. But which objects are eligible? Only the objects whose classes, only the objects whose classes are implementing, java.io. serializable marker interface are eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Yes, sir? Tell me, what is the point here I'm telling to you? In Java, by default, all Java objects are not eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Only the objects, now tell me, only the objects whose classes are implementing what interface? No, serializable java.io. serializable marker interface are eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Yes, sir, got it or not? This is exactly the point here we have to understand. Okay, fine. What is marker interface? No, at least one point here I want to say. I think at the end of the whoops, I need to give that point here. Some of you already understood that, but again, I want to give that point to you. Now try to understand it clearly. Marker interface is a Java interface. It does not have abstract methods. Doesn't have abstract methods. Okay, comma. It doesn't have abstract methods. By implementing marker interfaces, objects, by implementing marker interfaces, the objects are getting, by implementing marker interfaces, objects are getting some abilities at a runtime, some abilities at a runtime. Marker interface is a Java interface. It doesn't have abstract methods. By implementing marker interfaces, objects are able to get some abilities at runtime. Objects are able to get some abilities at a runtime. That's it. That's the meaning of this marker interface. Example for marker interface are what there? Serializable interface, comma, clonable. At the end of the object orientation, we are going to see this one, even this clonable. All right, sir. Now here we need to understand the context is what there, serializable. Now I'm giving the point here, serializable marker interface, serializable marker interface make eligible an object, serializable marker interface make an object eligible for, make an object eligible for the serialization and deserialization. I said to you already, normal Java objects are not eligible for serialization and deserialization. But when the class is implementing serializable interface, when any object is having serializable capability, then that is eligible for what their serialization and deserialization. But when an object is getting that capability, when an object is getting that serializable capability, when its respective class is implementing serializable interface, then only that object is getting serialization and deserialization capability. Right, sir. Serializable marker interface makes an object eligible for the serialization and deserialization. Fine. Now I want to give some example. Now try to understand it clearly. Public class employee. Now in general, inside this employee class, we are going to take some members, variables and methods here we are going to take. We can take anything, no problem here. But if you want to make it is eligible for object serialization, then what we have to do there? Implements serializable. Implements what there? Serializable. All right. So then after this, we need to create serializable object. Creating object for employee is nothing but what there? Serializable object. Now here we have to provide like what there? Employee emp is equal to new employee object here we created. Now tell me, this object is what object? No, eligible for serialization or not? This object is eligible for serializable, so this object is a serializable object. This object is what there? Serializable object. Here we are getting what there? Implements serializable interface. Then only this object is what there? Serializable object. Yes, sir. Clear to all of you know? Right, sir. Now this is completed. So this is step number 1. We completed clearly. Right, sir. Remaining few more steps are available that I will discuss with you on tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to complete this objective serialization over this content here. But on Sunday, anyway, we have some long session on Sunday. On Sunday, we are going to complete the remaining part of the serialization. That means remaining part of the IOSIMs. What concepts are available in IOSIMs overall? Serialization, deserialization, externalization. That is another topic. After completion of this externalization, next one is what there? Externalization and file system. Random access file, normal file system, file class object. That's it. By that, we are able to finish the total content here. I think so on Sunday, definitely some time is going to be remaining there. There I am going to complete networking topic. Networking and RMI, these two concepts I have to discuss in the continuation of IOSIMs. At least networking I'm going to complete. If we complete the networking and RMI, immediately I will start collection framework. Right, sir? Then remember the schedule is very clear. January 31st is the last date for our core Java. Definitely some topics or ending topics are going to be remaining. I'm going to take the ending topics on weekends. On Sundays, I'm going to take maybe 2 Sundays or 3 Sundays or 4 Sundays, whatever it may be. On Sundays, I'm going to plan. I'm going to take the classes here. But of course, I'm going to give Sundays classes and online classes support. No need to worry for it. But on February 2nd, I think so. February 2nd is a Friday. Am I right? February 2nd, I think so. Friday. No? Okay, Friday. On that day, I'm going to start Spring Framework. For the sake of your classes, on that day, I'm going to take what there? Spring Framework. Might be ending topics are going to be available. 1 or 2 Sundays, if I take no, the entire core Java is going to be completed. That's the plan here, what I'm telling you, right? So, February 2nd is the maximum case for what there? Spring Framework. From that point onwards, we are going to talk about what there? Spring. That means frameworks we are going to start. Okay. Right, sir. Take few minutes break and come back now. I'll start advanced Java class. Huh? You want to? Okay, okay. 1 minute on this one.